My name's Steve Walker. I'm an award-winning natural bodybuilder and 12-year veteran of the fitness industry. Now, before I tell you more about me, I want to tell you a little bit about why I do what I do. I'm going to tell you a story about a young man that hugely affected who I am today. So come back with me to 1990 and picture the scene. Young lad, 8 years old, about 5 foot tall, walks into school hand in hand with his mum. He's got a black school jumper on with St Mary's because he went to a Catholic school run by nuns. He's wearing a pink and purple shell suit, and he's got flecks of dandruff on the edges, slicked down, gelled side parting hair. As you can imagine, he wasn't exactly the coolest looking kid in the world. So he turns to his mum and he says, "Mum, can I have a packet of crisps?" "Of course you can, dear," she says, and gives him a pack of his favourite prawn cocktail crisps. And off he walks into that school. His mum waves him goodbye, and as far as she's concerned, off he goes for a day of hard studying at school, and that's where she leaves him. What she doesn't know is that when he gets into school, he's got to face bullies. He's going to be bunking off from lessons wherever he can. He's going to be acting like the class clown because he would rather spend his lunch times in detention with the teachers than be out there in the playground where he risks getting called names, where he risks getting beaten up, where he risks getting bullied. He's not loving life. He's got a speech impediment, as you probably guessed. He's been told he's got dyslexia. He's got asthma. He's got eczema. He's got allergies, which mean everywhere he goes, he's got a packet of tissues. He's constantly blowing his nose. He's got issues about the way he looks. He's mixed race and he thinks he's got a really big nose and he hates that. And the asthma was actually so bad that at the age of 10, he very, very nearly died from an asthma attack. On top of that, he has warts on his fingers, which stayed with him for years and years. So as you can imagine, he was lacking in confidence. Now, he had a couple of friends, and you know, his family loved him. Unfortunately, the bullies probably loved him a little bit more. So he went through school, and like I say, didn't have a great time of it, always really lacked confidence. Got to 14, 15, still didn't even have a girlfriend. He was just terrified of them. He would go to chess club at junior school to stay out of the playground. Just really didn't like life. Gets to the age of 15, 16, and a friend of his says, "Hey, do you want to come and work out with me at the gym?" And he thinks to himself, what's the saying? If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So he thinks to himself, right, let's give this a go. Now, he's grown up with 3 brothers. He's watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger films. He's seen Sylvester Stallone. He's seen Van Damme. He has an image in his head of what a man is, what a really strong macho man is. And he thinks, right, that's what I want to be when I grow up. So when he gets the opportunity to go to a gym, he says, great, let's give it a go. Anyway, he gets in the gym and he looks around and he sees these big, strong, Herculean mountains of men, and he thinks, right, this is a drop of me. I'm going to start lifting, I'm going to learn everything I can do, and I'm going to become this strong, tough guy who doesn't have to worry about being bullied, doesn't have to worry about feeling, you know, vulnerable. And I'm going to get out of this, I'm going to build my confidence. And he starts lifting and he gets more confidence and he gets more energy. And over time, the allergy starts to decrease. The eczema slowly starts to disappear. And before I carry on, let me just explain to you how bad the eczema was. The eczema was so severe that as a boy, he used to have 2 cold baths a day to stop it burning. He would scratch this eczema on his stomach till the blood would actually come through his t-shirt because it was that bad, okay? So when the eczema started clearing up, it was an absolute blessing for him. However, this didn't sort out all the health issues. So he carried on. There was still little little asthma problems, and there was still eczema problems, and it still wasn't the healthy person that he wanted to be just yet. So he bumps into a guy. Called Graham. Now, picture this man as a red-headed Tom Cruise. Now, this guy had worked in the stock exchange, worked in the city for 10 years. Ultra bright, quick-witted guy, but his health had been wrecked from the city life. He'd been drinking, he'd been doing all the city stuff that you do that absolutely destroys your health. And it got so bad that eventually he gave up his job. He'd be given antibiotics to fix his health, which just made things worse in the long run. And he thought, right, I'm going to take it into my own hands and I'm going to fix my health. So he spends tens of thousands of pounds. He flies around the globe. He speaks to the top nutritionists in America. He speaks to the top nutritionists in China. And over time, he learns to fix his health. So when he meets this young man and they become friends, he learns about all this nutrition, and eventually the skin clears up and the asthma disappears. By the age of 19, he finally gets his first girlfriend, and as you can imagine, the confidence really starts to increase. Age of 21, becomes a personal trainer, and you probably figured out by this point, that little boy we're talking about was in fact me. Fast forward 8 years, and I became a natural bodybuilder at the age of 30, going on to win a British title at the age of 32 as a heavyweight natural bodybuilder. Now, as you probably imagined, competing at that level taught me a lot more than I learned as a standard personal trainer. And having come from where I came from as a kid with all those health issues, I was absolutely adamant that anyone that I met, I would make sure they didn't have to deal with those problems that I had to deal with. And as you can imagine, this is why I do what I do. So as I said before, if you want to take action on your health and your fitness, speak to somebody that's had it all and overcome it. If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got.